TG Geeks, episode 175, June 25th, 2018. Aliens and Angels and Us. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, or the geekosphere. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from the only place that has got a number higher than our episode number.
Exactly.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, a temperature higher than...
Yes.
And we've got, we actually have two interviews for you today, one in the first segment and one in the second segment, because we'll find out here just shortly. So here we go. And this time we have our special guest, as always.
Our most frequent guest.
Our most frequent guest, Ms. Jeannie Koch.
The always
author
amazing.
Extraordinaire. Author extraordinaire. Yes.
I love
The
you
always
guys.
amazing is, I think, how I refer to her.
Always amazing, yes.
Yeah, the always amazing Jeannie Koch.
I like the always amazing.
Oh,
I like
good.
the always amazing.
Yeah.
That's so much better than always bizarre or always talks too long or, that kind of thing. So, which could also fit. So I'll take amazing.
Yeah, well, always amazing. So how
I like
are
it.
you? We haven't talked to you in a couple of months.
Well, you saw her not that long ago.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
But, my God, this is for our listeners.
Oh, very well then.
Good
That's true.
grief.
The listeners haven't heard from me for a little while.
Exactly.
So, we're good. It's finally hot in Hotlanta, so there's that.
Yeah, so you moved to Atlanta, and
Yes.
you're doing well there?
Can't complain. No one listens, or they're just tired of hearing me whine. Actually, yes. It's very, very different from both Phoenix and Los Angeles, which is where we lived before we lived in Phoenix. So it is an adjustment period. Honestly, the people are really, really nice. So that has not been a problem, and it's a cosmopolitan city, which is also nice. But the weather, man.
Oh,
the
yeah.
weather.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the weather.
Yeah, so far it rains here every 5 days minimum, whether we need it or not.
Yep.
And everybody's like, well, why do you think it's so green? And I'm like, I'm from the desert. It's all too much green. It's all the same green.
It's blinding
not.
me. It's blinding me.
Yeah, literally. Well, it's funny because when people come to the desert, it's all brown. It's like, no, there are all these different variations and everything else. And there are here, but I'm at that. It's just all green.
Exactly.
Stage still. But we're getting used to it. I'm very proud of us. It does rain so much that we've been since we got here in December. And every time it's raining, we're just like, we're not leaving the house. But that's not normal for anyone in Atlanta. So we forced ourselves yesterday. We left the house to go out to dinner, and we'll be doing a social Saturday on where we went because it was very cool.
Oh, cool.
We went, and it rained, and we got out of the car while it was raining, and we walked around while it was raining. We were just so proud of ourselves. And, anybody who's from a rainy area is just like, so?
Yeah,
For people from the desert, okay?
Exactly.
We walked out in the rain.
Going to
and
melt.
some of it was very heavy, too, I want to add. So it wasn't just sprinkling.
Oh, having lived in Virginia.
So we had a really nice time. So we're so proud of ourselves. It's the little things you treasure.
Yeah. So you talked about something there. You brought something up, but for those that don't know, for those that only listen to the podcast, Jeannie actually writes for us, and she writes a number of different things. She's done several things, but her most famous thing is our old classics with a question mark, newly reviewed. And tell us how did
that come about?
Did that come about? What?
Okay.
I mean, we were talking about doing, some regular stuff on the website, and you came up with this, and it was like, okay.
You actually created something pretty novel by doing this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you. Well, the reason behind it, we got to Atlanta, and in less than a week we had 6 inches of snow, and thankfully, that's not normal for Atlanta. They say, even though every time I'd visited Atlanta before this, it always snowed on me, but okay. So we couldn't go anywhere. Okay, we couldn't do anything. We couldn't go anywhere. 6 inches of snow. We don't have snow tires. No one in the town has snow tires, and they're literally, if you turned on the radio or television, they're saying stay home. So we're in Atlanta. It's the home of Turner Classic Movies, and there was just nothing on. It took us a while. We have a new television because we got a new TV when we moved, and we had a couple new things, and hooking up the DVD player took us a long time.
Oh, my.
We really had some challenges. So there's nothing on we want to watch. Oh, look, it's South Park. Oh, look, it's that 70s show. Literally, that's it, right?
Oh, dear.
And we don't really care for the show all that much. So Turner Classic Movies had some stuff on, and we started watching it. And then I'm like, we have this gigantic, terabyte of space on our new DVR. I look at some of these movies. I've always wanted to see them, or I've wanted to watch them with my husband, and so forth. So we just started taping them, and then I wasn't getting out of the house. And you two and I were talking about how do I get to a premiere, and what am I going to do? And it's just like, I've just watched 12 old movies in a row. Is there any interest in me reviewing them? They're supposedly classics. Some I agree with, and some I really don't. And you guys said yes, and that's how it came about. So like I say, every time I post a new one, it's like I still can't get out of the manse. So here's what I watch.
And because Jeannie has no friends. Yes.
Well, no, I have friends. It's just that they're not getting out of the house either. All my friends are pretty much every friend I have here, barring 2, are authors or agents. Publishers are all in the business. So it's like we're all busy. Everyone's on deadline. You can't just say, I feel like playing hooky today. What are you doing?
Exactly.
You can, but many times I'm on deadline. I'll talk to you later.
Let's go be the ladies
just like
at lunch.
I do that with you guys. So it just really worked out, and it's been very fun. Most of them I watch with my husband. Some I watch with the cats. When I'm done writing or I'm stuck and I got to think, it's like Phyllis Heeman, who was the friend of mine who's an author when I first started writing, who gave me permission to write. She also gave me permission to think, because this is years ago now. I was saying, I just haven't written anything. I'm stuck. And she said, you are actually allowed to take your hands away from the keyboard, get up from your chair, and go somewhere and think. Because thinking's allowed too. Mm-hmm. Writing is good, button chair is great, but you know what? Sometimes you just need to think. Right. And so Phyllis definitely, anytime I'm like, Phil, I can hear Phyllis saying, you just need to think. So a lot of those times I can't just think. I have a very active brain, so it helps me to be doing something else that allows my subconscious, my hindbrain, to say, that's what's wrong,
right.
Or, this is what we're missing.
Yeah,
so
it's a distraction.
Many times the cats and I.
It's a distraction.
The front brain distraction, so the hindbrain can
do its thing.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that the old classics column,
very
there is an
popular.
interest because we've been getting some really good numbers on the website for that one, and there's been some regular feedback. Well, Hamish Downey loves the old classics. Every Wednesday, he loves to read about the things that you're watching.
Yeah, I love when we don't agree. That's always funny. When I think that one's wonderful. I'm like, I can't believe you like that movie. There's nothing you can say that's going to change my mind about
Absolute
that movie.
crap.
If I'm sitting there drooling out of boredom, you can't change my mind. And if I loved it, even if it was supposed to be terrible, you also can't change my mind on that.
Right.
So yeah, but it's very fun. It's very interesting. The ones in not every night, and obviously not every show, but Ben Mankiewicz does great commentary before and after the movies. So that's always very educational. And I don't remember the girl's name, but there's a girl in the afternoons that does the same thing, and it's just nice that they do that. You get a little, you don't get it for every movie, but when they're doing the commentary before and after, it's very helpful. They're setting the stage for you on when this movie came out and what was going on, and then they give you, this is what happened, this is why. So like for Midnight Lace, it was not difficult to find online that Doris Day never wanted to do another thriller again.
Oh, wow.
But because she pulled up everything that had happened with her abusive ex-husband to initiate the terror. But, it was interesting to hear that from Ben Mankiewicz and be able to look back and go, oh, yeah, okay, she really sold being terrified out of her mind.
Right.
So it was very good. And I noticed that I've got a kind of a group. It's like I've been watching a lot of Rock Hudson movies, lots of Cary Grant movies, some Hepburn. I seem to be going in chunks of, well, it's this guy, well, it's that gal. Right. So watched a bunch of Doris Day, then moved over to a bunch of Rock Hudson, Cary Grant. And, and some of it's just what Turner Classic Movies is playing and who they are, and also if I can get through the movie or not. There's some movies that are waiting in queue that it's like it's going to be a while before I get to that. It's usually the dramas.
Right.
I have to be in the mood for drama versus a mystery or a comedy or a thriller or noir I can get into. But the drama of, something meaningful is happening on the screen and we're all going to shed a tear and, I have to be in a mood for that.
Right. Well,
so
this
I have
week,
like 15 of those waiting. And
yeah, this week we have the double feature from you for Charade and Arabesque. So,
that was fun, and I'm not going to spoil that one by telling away. In one sense, it's a triple feature because we do talk about a movie that was our first official Do Not Finish.
Right.
So
indeed. I cannot wait to read this now.
It was. I was looking at the artwork for and there's a couple of classic Audrey Hepburn photos and a classic Sophia Loren photo, and it just which ones do I choose?
Right. Yeah.
It's really
I will. When you read that review, folks, believe me, choose what I tell you to choose. Don't go for the others. And then I sent you another one that I kind of can't wait to come out because I know people are going to argue with my take on it.
We still have a couple in the queue ready to go.
Yes.
And you've also written a couple of other things for us. And we've run some.
Oh, I love some of these things. Some of the social
reprints.
Saturdays?
Well, some of the reprints that you've had from
my humor collection.
Oh,
yeah.
Those are always enjoyable.
A lot of fun. And then you've done some social Saturday stuff, some places to hang out, but mostly dining places from you. But
that's because that's mostly what we do when we leave the man as we go eat.
Yeah.
In fact, the new one will be food. But I threw in a couple that are you leave the house and do something other than go chow down. But
exactly.
That's been the socialist thing we've done is eating for the most part, other than the other two places.
Well, I would say that the places that you've shared look extremely interesting. So I keep thinking, if Keith and I are ever down in Atlanta for like several days, I'm lining up all these things. Okay, we got to go here, we got to go here, we got to go here, because they all look really good.
Yeah, and of course,
Yeah.
I joined you at the Louisiana Bistro, which was this
Yeah.
last Saturday. I thought the food was really good, and of course,
The food is
yeah.
really good. We've been there several times since.
Oh, cool.
The food's always good, and the service is always really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, really enjoy that place. So that's our when we're picking people up from the airport, we try to make sure they time in so we can go to the Louisiana Bistro.
Exactly.
Cool.
So, and other than that, you just kind of been hanging out in Atlanta, but
You
you're
got something
going
coming
to be
up.
back on the West Coast here for something?
I will be. My only West Coast appearance this year, at least the only planned one, is San Diego Comic-Con.
Yay!
And yes, so that is, I'm not looking at a calendar. I think that's the teen week, the late teen weekend
Yes,
of July.
16th,
And
something, yeah.
I will be there. I am the preview night author on Wednesday night for Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore, and for those going, their booth 1119. And so I do giveaways if you buy 3 books or more, as long as one of them is mine. You get a nice big tote bag that is very useful. And I realize, yes, they give you the big backpacks, but I got to tell you, if you're collecting stuff, if you're getting freebies, if you're just wandering around, honestly, having
worth
extra totes is never a problem.
Oh yeah, we got a tote bag last time we saw you at Phoenix, and that's really handy.
It's nice.
Yes, it's really, they're very, very good. And then I'm the closing author for Mysterious Galaxy as well on Sunday, so I'm 4 p.m. to close.
Oh, cool.
There. So you can catch me at the start and you can catch me at the end. And at the end, if we have bags are on as you know, till we run out, basically. So if I have any and on Sunday, that's when most of us are doing the panicked last shopping, and it's, again, really helpful to have another bag. So,
Right.
you know, and you'd get books. So, you know, the highlight would be the books, but
Exactly.
the bag is very useful at meeting me. And then I should have a panel. It's not confirmed yet, and so until it's confirmed, we can't talk about them. But if it does confirm, it's going to be really fun. So, you know, watch this space kind of thing. But I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm hoping that does happen and comes through, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we're going to miss you because
Yeah.
the
I'm so
timing
bummed you guys aren't going.
Yeah, the
We are
timing
too.
didn't work out for us this year. It just, we had so many other things going on. It's
I know,
happening.
the life of social butterflies.
Yeah, the
I
week
know.
after Ben's birthday, and we had already made plans to go away for his birthday. So
Well, and it's also
Nice,
also just before my mother's birthday, so it's
we
it's
don't
not a good idea.
dare go 2 weeks either side. I mean, we're really kind of pushing it by going for his birthday, going for the weekend, because 2 weeks either side
Yeah.
of her birthday, it's like, how dare you go away? I wanted to do something.
Oh, let's be nice.
You know? Anyway, and she doesn't listen to the
it
podcast.
happens.
At least I hope not.
I hope she's not listening to this. Otherwise, we're in deep trouble.
I was going to say, yeah, you might want to edit that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
I'm
We'll
not
check it out.
sure.
Yeah, but we are kind of bummed. I was hoping that we could go back this year because we had a really great time last
Yeah.
year. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So much fun.
And we missed
It's
you.
a great con.
Yeah, we missed you at Phoenix.
Whatever we're
FanFest.
calling
Whatever it's
what
being
used
called
to be
this year.
Phoenix Comic Con.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the last year.
Yeah, I
this
missed
time-
everybody.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
a
we-
number of people made comments to us. You know,
Well, to go down that whole,
we're in that general area.
Yeah, you go down that author's row, you know, we see all the familiar
Yeah.
faces, except there's this void. And it's like, you know, there's this presence that is missing. You know, where's the pink hat?
Where's the larger than life
yeah.
booth?
Yeah, well, you know, those who want me should let the con management know that they'd like to have me back, because that's about the only way you get there from across the country.
No kidding. So well,
But yeah, so no, it was very odd. It's the first time I've missed since 2011.
Wow,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing.
it was very odd. I was very fortunate. My mother-in-law, who I adore, was visiting us at that time, so I had the distraction of not sitting around going, gosh, we're doing nothing. We're watching Turner Classic movies. And in fact, the two things that weren't food, we got out because my mother-in-law was here.
Oh, cool.
So, we need visitors to leave the house. So I was doing things. We were active. We were doing stuff. So it wasn't as heartbreaking as it could have been. But
Right.
it was tough because people were just texting me or sending me notes on Facebook saying, I miss you. Why aren't you here? It's like, I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm very far.
Well, for people that want to know more about you and what it is that you're doing, how can they find you and what it is?
I am everywhere, really. Well, not quite everywhere, but my website is www.ginnykoch.com, and that's GINIKOCH. I am on Twitter at Ginny Koch, no underscore. There's another Ginny Koch on Twitter, and she is Ginny_Koch. She's lovely. She's German, and if you get her instead of me, she will gently tell you you've gotten her instead of me. So no risks there. And I'm on Facebook as obviously Ginny Koch. Ginny Koch, Hairspray and Rock and Roll, and I think the latest webpage is author Ginny Koch.
Cool.
So I've got 3 places on Facebook to find me.
Yeah.
I'm on Pinterest as Ginny Koch, and again, Pinterest, I really encourage people, if you want to know who I think the characters look like or who I think could play the characters in all of my series, not just the Alien series. That's the place to go. And supposedly I have an Instagram.
You do. Genie.Koch.
Huh?
It's Genie.Koch.
On what?
Instagram.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay, great. Don't go there. I literally cannot make it work right.
I know.
Other people can make it work right. I spent 3 hours trying to upload a picture of one of my cats, and I gave up.
Oh, dear.
There's like 2 pictures from me up there. And it was really flattering because, I was there, and all of a sudden, I don't know, tons of people were like, oh, we're following you, or whatever they do. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I could not figure out how to follow anybody back. I could not figure out how to get pictures posting. I'm just like, I'm done. Okay, I can figure out Instagram, or I can write the next book.
Nope.
So I need Instagram help. So if somebody wants to volunteer, I'm waiting for you. But yeah, so technically I have Instagram, but you could be sending me things I'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'll announce when I finally figured out how to work it. So don't hold your breath for that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jeannie, for being on the show. We're going to have another interview with Jeannie here in a couple of weeks about Kitty's World, but we'll wrap this one up this time. Thanks for being with us again.
Thank you for having me. I always love being here.
And here's a few selected birthdays for June 25th through July 1st, 2018. June 25th, Sidney Lumet, George Orwell, not speaking of the times we're living in, and June Lockhart.
Ma Robinson.
Yeah. Ma
Robinson.
Okay, that was a good one. I never expected that.
Neither did I.
Just kind of came out of nowhere.
There it was.
Also a friend of ours, Thelonious Sweetleaf, also known as Dillo. Our friend lives in Germany. June 26th, Peter Lorre. And Lily Pons. And it says she's a web video star. She must be 112.
She must be. I hope she's still not singing.
Well, I don't know. But I thought her name was Lilly.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at that. I'm thinking,
this is Lel. Maybe it's a different person. I don't know. Anyway. Also,
you picked it.
Well, it just said web video star. There was no picture or anything.
Oh, okay.
So I just assumed it was the Lily Pons.
Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum. Yeah. Where is that? I've lost my sound. There it is. Also on June 26th, Sean Hayes, actor, producer, and whatever else.
All I know is he helped work on Grimm.
Well, he was also the actor in Will and Grace. Sean Hayes.
Oh, I think of Grimm.
Oh, anyway. Okay. June 27th, J.J. Abrams, Bob Keeshan for you old people.
Yeah, Clarabelle the Clown and Captain Kangaroo.
Captain Kangaroo. June 28th, Alice
The
Krieg,
Borg Queen.
Mel Brooks, Elon Musk,
Michael Meningay's man crush.
Yes, and Pat Morita. Also on June 28th, a man that I admire tremendously is Mr. John C. Dorhauer. Happy birthday, John.
Yes.
He is the President, General Minister of
General President,
the
I think.
United Church of Christ.
Yes.
Also a friend of ours, Danny Martinez, on June 28th. June 29th, Ray Harryhausen and Gary Busey, who got his start on television in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Mazeppa Pompazoides Uncanny Film Festival and Camp Meeting.
Who was he?
He was Teddy Jack Eddy. So go to YouTube and look up Mazeppa and Teddy Jack Eddy. Also on June 29th, Bernard Herrmann, who was a wonderful film composer. He not only did the music for, well, just a bunch of stuff. He was a famed film composer. Anyway, June 30th, Lena Horne, and a friend of ours in the UK, Matt Ian Kelly, and a friend up in the Prescott area, filmmaker Andrew Johnson Schmidt. July 1st, Estee Lauder, who has founded the Estee Lauder companies.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. How about that? And Twyla Tharp. And to round it out on July 1st, Dusty Sage, also known as Todd Reagan, also known as Mr. Mice Chat. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hi, this is Holly. You're tuned in to Krypton Radio. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.
Go give a listen to our friends over at Krypton Radio, 24-hour internet radio station. You can also catch our show on
That's where we are.
Tuesdays. Yeah. And now it's time for just a little bit of the Dancing Robots.
That's right.
Feedback.
And we got a little bit here, starting off with our big announcement that we signed a deal with Krypton Radio. We first got a comment from Marilyn Hilton. She says, "This is sweet news on this day." We were happy to share it. And we got a comment from Katie Edwards, one of our favorite authors, and he says, "This is so awesome. I'm so happy for you guys, as well as the thousands upon thousands of new listeners who are going to fall in love with you as well. Millions? Billions? We hope so." Got a comment from Patricia Chica. She says, "So happy for my favorite gay geeks. Congrats." And then from Susan Martin Murph. She says, "Congratulations, Ben and Keith." Then we got some comments on our article, The Series Ending Thoughts for Sense8, from contributor, writer for our website, Andrea Richoff. She says, "I loved it." A friend of mine, Michael Rose, he says, "One of the best finales I've ever seen. This show is truly remarkable. I really hope that they find some way to make more." And then from Anthony Ecclesi, he says, "Perfect summary. Love the show with all my heart. I want to be on a show / create one like this. I cried during the credits when you see Lana hug a fan." Oh, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
With the sign, "We are all sensates."
Yep.
Anthony, I'm right with you. And then lastly, Jeannie Koch, who we heard in the beginning of the show, she did a review for the movie Ocean's 8 and got a comment from Gary Lindros, who said, "I was on the fence about this movie, but given your review, I've reconsidered." And Jeannie followed up with, "I adore heist movies, and the Hubs loved this as much as I did." And that is our feedback for today.
Yeah, we want to hear from you, our listeners. If you have something to say about anything, our show, any of the articles that we run on Facebook or even on the website, you can comment at the bottom of each one of those things. You can comment on Facebook, on Twitter, and you can even call our listener feedback line at 469-TG-Geeks. That's 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Wow.
That's not. We don't have a second segment as in a second segment.
Not really.
But we're going to have another interview right now. So here we go. And this time we welcome back Ms. Carrie Merrill, who is an author that we've talked to. Yeah. Listen to me. I can talk.
You can speak.
I learned to speak. Carrie,
I is smart.
I is smart, yes. Carrie Merrill, who we have spoken to before. That was what I think I got the two words mixed together. Anyway.
Blending.
Yes, we're talking to you today. She is an author of the Angel Blade series, but not only the Angel Blade series. She has another book that she published as well. But we're here to really talk about the fourth book in the Angel Blade series, which was just released, which when the third one was over, I said, oh my God, you have to write another one because it's a huge, I mean, it could have been left there, but you know,
was it too much of a cliffhanger for you?
Oh my God, yes. I was dangling on that cliff.
Major cliffhangers. It's great to be back. I love talking to you guys.
Yeah,
so I'm glad to be here.
So, Carrie, for people that don't know who you are, kind of fill our audience in on who you are and what you have done.
Well, I have been writing since a very young age. My first book was published, however, in March of 2016. In that meantime, I do call my writing career kind of like my night job, but my other day and night job, I'm also a practicing full-time physician. I'm an OBGYN.
Yeah. So you deliver babies and
write
deliver
books.
Yes. Babies and books.
I deliver babies. I'm also a surgeon. Yeah. And then I write books on the side. Yes.
Cool. So that is really cool. Now, we saw you, what was it, 2 years?
About two, maybe.
Was it 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
Angel Blade had just come out. I think maybe the next book was coming out, or you had just...
Yeah, the next book was almost ready to be released.
Yeah, so you had Angel Blade there. We kind of just whizzed by and talked to you for just a moment, but when you told us what this was about, tell us what the Angel Blade series, how it kind of starts. What's the byline for the whole series and how it starts? So that's what kind of caught me.
Yeah, well, we also in the biz call that the elevator pitch.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
Oh, I like that.
My elevator pitch for Angel Blade is that it is a young woman who is dying of cancer until a stranger approaches her with a cure in exchange for becoming a demon hunter.
That is and it's like, holy moly, I want to talk to you some more, but we never made it back by.
Well, it was a busy day.
It was a very busy Comic-Con for us. So here at Phoenix Comic-Con. But so then you had that. I finally picked it up a couple of weeks after that and read it, and it was like, oh my gosh. And then the second one was released by that point, so I was able to pick that one up and read it right away. And then the third one had to wait for that. And then you left me on a cliffhanger.
I did. I'm so mean.
Was that a deliberate attempt on your part? I mean, not just to torment Keith, but to end that third book on a cliffhanger like that.
A little bit, yeah, because it does keep the reader coming back. Plus, it creates anticipation for the final book.
Right. So, had you always had the fourth book in mind, or was that kind of a spot where you said, okay, well, if I don't want to write anymore, or if they don't want to publish it anymore, or whatever, that's a good ending place, or?
Well, kind of yes and no. As a writer, I do have other series that I have kind of in the backlog that I'm hopefully getting that out, but I know some writers do better than I do at this, but when I'm writing a book, I never plan on it being a series. I never know until the end of that book. So when I wrote Angel Blade, I originally only intended it for be a standalone book. However, when I got to the end, and you know, I say this all the time, characters do their own thing. They come to life, and they're like children. They'll have their own problems. They'll do their own thing, and they won't even listen to you. Right. So at the end of Angel Blade, I was planning on killing off a major character, and he didn't want to die, so I kept him alive. And it turns out that ended up spawning the rest of these books. And so I got to Demon, which is book 2, still didn't know if I was going to have a book 3, but I got to the end of that one, and I'm like, well, looks like it's going to keep going. But by the time I got to the end of Archangel, which is book 3, I knew that there was going to be another book. Not exactly sure how I was going to do it, but I knew that there was going to be another one, and I was pretty sure that it was going to be the last one in the series.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot more. Well, I guess there's not a whole lot more that you can go from where you went with that book without giving anything away here. It's like, well, okay. I mean, that was a pretty good end, but then it was like there were just a couple of lines right at the very end. It's like, oh my God. You know?
So how long have you
However,
been... Go ahead.
At the end of Harbingers, this 4th book, you'll be pretty sure it's the end. Although, you know, it's kind of, I think I've mentioned this to you guys before. It could be also open into interpretation,
right?
On however the reader takes it. I'll just put it at that.
Yeah. So, tell us about, if you can give us a sequence of events without giving too much away, that happened in the book. Can you do that, or is that?
I certainly can. At the end of Archangel, we're starting to see, well, we have seen throughout the Archangel book that, you know, world has fallen into apocalypse. We are at the end, and when Harbingers starts, we see our characters. They've been living in this world for some time at that point, and we are introduced to the need to finally wrap this up and hopefully save this world from the end of days.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So how long have you been planning this particular series? I mean, and okay, you said with the first book, you intended that to be just a standalone, but clearly that story must have been kind of like percolating in the back of your brain. How long ago did that start, and how long of a gestation process, shall we say, did it take for the inception of it to its final realization?
That's a very good question. I would have to say probably the first book, Angel Blade, I originally had the ideas start to come to mind in about 2013, and it's odd how it came to me. I get asked sometimes how I got the inspiration. I had surgery on my feet, and I couldn't walk for about a period of 8 months.
Wow.
And so I was really bored,
I guess,
so to speak. And I was kind of down in the dumps. It was about Christmas time with my first foot surgery. And my sister-in-law said, you know what, let's get you out of the house. Let's go to a movie. We went to a movie, and of course this is in December. And when you go to the movies in December, you usually see in the previews a commercial for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And I'm sitting there watching this, and the idea came to my mind. You know, we've got a young person dying of cancer. What if there was something that they could choose to do to change that? Would they do that?
Right.
And so the idea suddenly sparked in my brain while I'm sitting there watching. I don't even remember the movie now because I was starting to get ideas while the whole movie is going.
Right. And of course it's Christmas time.
I came up with this thought. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, of course, it's Christmas time, and you automatically think of demons at Christmas time.
Oh, yeah, because that's the first thing I do.
So I came up with this idea, and because I had a lot of time to just sit and write, I just started plotting it, and it took me probably about a year to plot it. And I was walking finally by then, but I had written it in a period of about 4 months, I think. And it was done by 2014. I had it submitted by the end of 2015, and it got accepted by the publishing house. And by March of 2016, it was published.
Wow.
You talk about plotting it. Is that just something that just kind of you're running in your head, just little points, or do you sit down and write out like little outlines or just little thoughts as you're going through that? Because I'm sure that there are a lot of, we got a lot of first-time writers who listen to us. We've got a lot of people who I think are interested in writing. So I'm sure that they would find maybe your process to be a rather interesting one.
Yes, that's an excellent question. You know, there's so many ways that people sit and write a book. Just generically, there are plotters and what we call pantsers, meaning that you just write by the seat of your pants. You don't have a plan. I'm kind of like maybe in between there. And I used to think I was very unique in the way I approached my outlines, but it turns out I'm not. Other writers have done this. But so what I do is I start to have an idea of what I want to write about. I don't actually start the book until I know the ending. So I have a beginning, I know it's sort of in the middle, and I have an end, but even then I still don't write. My outline, I never physically actually write an outline. I create a playlist that I call my book soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
And I keep the songs in order on my MP3 player, and I add songs as I'm inspired by them, and I'll keep them in order as if it's a movie playing in my head, and this is the music that goes with it. And so it helps me to create the environment and the atmosphere. If it's going to be I've even said this to other writing groups, whenever I'm thinking of the scenes with demons, there's always like heavy metal playing. So I'm finding like when I'm writing these books, I'm listening to a lot of heavy metal, and there's a lot of great action songs and a lot of like mood enhancing music.
Interesting. Well, we have another author
Jeannie.
friend that has a playlist for her writing. So
Yeah.
and sometimes
Like I said, I thought I was unique. Turns out I'm not.
No.
yeah, sometimes she gets a song stuck in her head, and she's got the groove, and she's really writing, so she puts it on endless replay.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Much-
do the same thing.
much
if
to the madness of her
somebody was listening
husband.
To me write, yeah, if somebody was listening to me write, they would be like, "Stop playing that song. It's driving me nuts."
It's
But
the
I will play
4,000th
endless
time
repeat.
today.
Exactly, endless repeat until I'm done writing that scene, and I keep that playlist, and I wherever if I'm driving, if I'm going to work, whatever, I play that whole playlist over and over again until my book is done.
Interesting.
Okay, here's a weird thought. Have you ever thought of maybe including in your books, a little page, that kind of lists, if you're really feeling motivated, listen to these songs during these particular chapters.
I have actually, I've seriously considered that, and I'm not so sure about putting it in the books, but I'm kind of planning maybe even putting it either on my author website or I have a blog, and
Yeah.
I've been thinking of maybe releasing that playlist, my list of songs, if anybody would be interested in listening to them in the order that I've presented them in the book.
Because
Yeah.
I've got another author friend, Kevin Anderson, who he writes a lot of hard sci-fi, and his very, very first book was based on Rush's album Grace Under Pressure. And he even said, if you're going to be reading my book, you need to listen to this album. You need to listen to these songs because they inform the book. So that might be a fun way to kind of create a rather multi-sensory kind of theater of the mind experience for anybody who wants to tackle your stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And because the music means so much to me when I'm writing it, and it really evokes some of those scenes, and I think it would definitely be helpful.
Yeah. Now, Jeannie, she's the maven of pop culture, so in her books.
Oh, she lists them, and it's part of the story.
Exactly. She says, and Kitty was listening, because Kitty has her main character. She's on book, 17 now?
Oh, hell, I have no
Anyway,
idea. Book
but-
300.
Yeah. And she's always got her
Her
iPod with her or her phone, and she's always got her earbuds in. And
She's always got to talk about the song that she's listening to at that moment.
Exactly. So that's a kind of an
So it might be a
interesting-
nice way, a very meta kind of way, it's like, the world was falling apart, and this metal song was playing in the background.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
some fun way to make it part of the story.
It's really funny, like my whole life, it's whatever book I'm writing, that's the music I'm listening to at that time. So like people might think, are you okay if I'm listening to just like really heavy thrash metal? I'm like, no, I'm just writing Angel Blade. It's okay. But like the last book that got released before Harbinger, so The Key, the Outlaw, and the Treasure, set in the Old West, I was listening to a lot of like folk music, like from the 1800s, which
Oh, wow.
was really weird. And my family are like, that's not what you usually listen to. And I'm like, I know, but that's what I'm writing. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Have you had a stroke?
I know, right? They thought there was something wrong with me.
She's taken on a new personality. Does she have multiple
That's right.
personality disorder?
Do we need to call a doctor?
Do we need to find somebody who's got another personality kind of coming out? Yeah.
So what is next for you? What after this book? I mean, you've got
after this one. I'm currently writing a horror, and it's one that actually was inspired from my days in residency when I was working in Chicago.
Yeah, you told us about that. Yeah.
Yes, I remember this one.
Yes.
So tell this story.
Tell.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm about probably a third of the way through it so far. And that was just made from a collection of stories that I actually got in my 4 years of working at that hospital, and just decided, this would make a really great fiction, a murder mystery, also a ghost story. And I've been very excited about this, and I'm tired of keeping it on the back burner, so I'm ready to do it. So
oh, cool.
I've got that, and then I've got some other, maybe bringing some of my other series that I've written that I've got kind of in the backlog right now. My publisher has always been, whatever you got, just keep feeding it to us. So I'm like, all right.
Cool.
Be careful what you ask for. I got a lot.
How much are you producing per year? Or do you? Or is it,
probably about at least 2 manuscripts a year, at least.
Wow. I mean, now with Jeannie, she produces a lot of stuff, but she just, that's all she does is she just writes. I mean, you've got a full-time job.
Yeah. But, there's some people ask me, how do you find the time? And I say, I don't sleep. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, no, really. I find that my best time writing, when you have to go in the middle of the night to deliver a baby, sometimes you have to hurry and wait. So you go over there and then you wait. And so rather than just sit there and wait and play on my phone and scroll through social media, I will take my laptop and I'll write. I'll start writing there. I'm not wasting time, so I get it done.
Is it kind of tricky? Because you've talked about how with some of the stuff that you're writing, that you like to have a little music playing in the background or whatever. Is it is it hard to get into that writer's mindset? Because you get to the hospital, it's like, oh wait, not yet. Got maybe another 2 hours to go. So now you have to kind of mentally really quick switch gears like that. Is that challenging to you?
It can be, but that is definitely where the music helps. And so I always have my playlists are on my phone, and I always have a set of earbuds with me, just in case. So if I'm just sitting there waiting, I put that in. The moment my music plays, I can get in the zone. And that's another reason I do that, because it definitely helps me to get into that frame of mind.
Right.
Okay, so I got to know the elevator pitch for this horror story that you're writing, please.
Where do you have
the elevator pitch? Still working on it, but it's generally this way. A young, promising surgeon has encountered an accident that has left her dying, and she pulls through, but has now become able to see spirits. And she's working in a hospital that's full of spirits. And she comes across one that is very angry and is pleading for help, and she needs to find out what it needs.
Interesting. Wow, that's interesting.
I can't wait for that one, because I think the idea, and I think I said this last time, the idea of a horror story that takes place in a hospital just pushes every single button in me.
Yeah.
Because I'm terrified of medical facilities. Hospitals scare the crap out of me to begin with. And then you make it a horror, and it's like, all the hairs on the back of my neck just stand up.
Well, it really came into focus because when I was a resident at this hospital in Chicago, you're there in the middle of the night sometimes, obviously waiting for deliveries or you got an emergency that comes in. And, if you're waiting around, sometimes those hallways are very dark and they're very quiet.
Creepy.
And your mind starts to go a little active.
Yeah.
And you get some ideas. But plus, there's some things in this book that are actually from stories that people have told me that they or patients have experienced in that hospital. So there will be some, however you interpret it, true stories that they've given me.
Interesting.
Okay, here's a weird question that just came to mind. Have you ever thought about walking some of the halls, some of the darker, less used halls, like in the basement, places like that, of a hospital, just for inspiration?
Oh, definitely, and I have done that. And, a lot of this, when I was at this hospital, the resident call rooms was on an entire floor that used to be the old psych ward.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay!
It was
That's
just
scary.
It was just a hallway that was always dark, empty rooms, and quiet. And none of the residents actually liked to stay there, but it happened to be that it was right below the labor and delivery floor, so it was convenient for us to stay in there. But you're down there by yourself, and it's the old psych ward, and it's dark, and it's creepy. So yeah, I did that a lot.
Cool.
Oh, far out.
Yeah.
I'm already kind of creeping out a little bit, but yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I told you the story about when I worked at the hospital. The IT shop was on the basement, and it was just down from the morgue, and I would always walk by, and I'd knock on the door of the morgue.
You're sick.
And one time the door opened.
Oh.
Oops.
Luckily, somebody didn't knock back.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid. Somebody'd be knocking back, then I'd be running like mad.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
So, wow. I mean, fun stuff here. Okay, so let's do a quick little wrap up. Now, your latest Angel Blade book, once again, the title of that is
Harbingers,
and that was just released. Where can people find that book?
Well, it is available through my publisher, so it's Christopher Matthew pub.com. It's also available on Amazon. You can also order it through barnesandnoble.com, as well as your Barnes & Noble bookstores. They can order it for you right there at the counter. If I've done a book signing at that particular Barnes & Noble, they will have it on the shelf.
Cool.
Nice. So, and if people want to know more about you, any kind of social media presence, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where can people learn more about you and what you've got coming up in the future?
Yes, I have a Facebook. You can find me at Carrie Merrill. And if you friend me, I will friend you back. And I also have a Twitter account. It's Dr. Evil Stork. And I also have a website. It's Carrie Merrill 729 at wixsite.com/author.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, this is really great. I have to pick the book up and read that. I've got a couple of things in the queue right now, but I need to pick up Harbinger because I want to see what the rest of that story goes.
And I am just chomping at the bit for your horror book.
Yeah.
That's going to be great fun.
So we'll keep us in mind on that, and we will talk to you when
that's getting ready to come out. We will definitely have you back on the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm hoping, we might have it ready, maybe not by the end of this year, but hopefully early next year.
Woo-hoo.
Yay. Well, thank you, Carrie, for being on the show again this time.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'm always happy to be here. I enjoy it.
Well, we got a number of things we need to cover really quickly.
Yep. This is our weekly review, things we had in the last week.
Yes, so on Sunday, June 17th, we had issue number 1 of Dr. Zombie, Monster Family Physician from Tommy Cannon. And then on Monday, we had 3 things. We had our episode 174. Andrea Richoff had a review for Incredibles 2. And we had a little Eli Lieb releases a Pride 2018 video for the Trevor Project. I really recommend everybody checking that one out. It's fabulous. On Tuesday, there was a review for Jeannie Koch's book, The Night Beat. On Wednesday, Jeannie had a review for her Old Classics Newly Reviewed of the Thin Man series.
Several at one time.
Yeah, she
like
kind
6
of
movies.
And then Andrea Richoff came back with another review for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. On Thursday, we had 3-episode thoughts for a Netflix series, formerly Sci-fi series, called Ascension. On Friday, we had issue number 16.
Sweet 16.
Of News Sushi, Morsels of News from Japan and Beyond, from the ever wonderful Hamish Downey, blah, blah. And then on Saturday, Jeannie gave us a new social place to hang out. It is the Louisiana Bistro. And you can see that. We'll have the links for all of these on our website.
And you can find all of these at tggeeks.com, as well as entries on our Facebook page. Please visit and comment on all of those. As always, we have a few follow-up items. And the first one, if you think it's not worth it anymore, please make a call. The National Suicide Prevention Helpline is 273-8255. And if you happen to be an LGBTQ youth, that's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning youth, please reach out to the Trevor Project. They have a chat line, a safe social media presence, and a hotline. Please call 1-866-844-7386. Please make the call before you consider doing anything. Check out our calendar on the website. We got several things on there. There's a couple of books on the widgets on the right-hand side of the page that you can order. Arizona Opera, check them out at azopera.org. And everybody knows we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, etc. Please support them by buying their stuff.
The following people on Twitter have paperlies, and they republish our content regularly. There's a Doctor Who Fancast guide. You can find it by searching @TalkingWho. There's the Byronix Semi-Journal Aggregator. You can find it by looking for Michael C. Burgess on Twitter. He is @Byronix. Arkle, you hear from him from time to time. He's got the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News. You can find him on Twitter @Arkle. He also has the Incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes on Tumblr. And we also must give a shout out to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek, for allowing us to post our content and episodes there. Thank you very much to moderator Jeremiah Reeves for allowing us to share our stuff there. It is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek.
We want to thank everybody that has clicked on the Amazon ads. We've kind of changed it up a little bit. We've got a few new ads, and several people have clicked on them. We've made another 84 cents. How about that? We're going to get rich with Amazon ads. So please consider clicking on our Amazon ads. And lastly, check us out on Krypton Radio, iHeartRadio, and please rate us and review us on iTunes and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Up next time, I don't know. We got several things in the can. We'll have to figure out who we're going to run next week. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article on the Webcast episode. We're going to have several links there of things we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That's 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Peace.
Cheers.